All right. Here we go. Are there romanceable NPCs in Mario RPG? Yes, Bowser. We will form a relationship with Bowser. Here we go. New game. My name? We'll go with LL. Classic. Classic LL. And here's the cutscene. Here's the story. Here we go. We're getting the lore. The Mario lore, everybody. Oh yeah, okay. It's thunderous thunder night. No rain though, just thunder. Oh, and then Princess was taken in a cloud car flying thing. And then away a plumber goes. Pretty exciting stuff so far. I'm assuming us, as the Italian plumber, now have to get him back. Turn crowd control on. Well, I mean, I can't just do that on a whim. I'll tell you what, we'll do crowd control when I come back from touching grass. Starting tomorrow, there will be a special event, and anybody who gifts subs tomorrow will be able to earn a special badge. We're doing special things. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna try and leave the fishing up and see what happens. I guess that, although I guess that wouldn't work because you wouldn't even see it. Yeah, no. Never mind. The fishing will be reset tonight, though, so we gotta figure out... We're gonna see who won. So you wanna get them fishings in tonight. Cast your lines. Alright. He's confused. Ah, of course, they're above us on the chandelier. I love that sound. That's Super Nintendo. Oh, don't let Bowser bruise you, Mario! Larry, I tried these spicy Caesar flavored chips, which was like a cross between ketchup and all dressed with a hit of celery salt. 7 out of 10. Yeah, like, here's the thing. I try some of those more complicated, like, chip flavors, you know? I gotta be honest, I don't usually... I'm like, nah. Whenever I try one. Like, it sounds great. Every time I look at the, like, the flavor or whatever, I'm like, whoa. And then I'm like, you know what? This would have been better if it's, like, salt and vinegar. Or, like, that classic barbecue. I like that one, the old-fashioned barbecue that Lay's got or whatever. Donair one? Not that good. Not that good, I gotta say. Not very good. So, yeah. That's always the thing though, like I say, like I'd always rather have salt and vinegar, dill pickle. Give me the classics, you know? All dressed? I'll take an all dressed chip. Yeah, like that. Exactly, Frank. That's the thing. If I'm having a complicated chip, it's all dressed. That's as complicated as I get. And usually if I get all dressed, it's gotta be the Ruffles. Because I find that, like, for some reason the Ruffles all dressed is, I don't know, it's like slightly better. It's not too much, you know? It's like a little more vinegary, I think, which is why I like that one better. No cheese and onion? Or cheese and onion. What do we get? Kay's cooking chips up in here now. Everybody go follow Dave Legend. Oh, I gotta do a... What was that sound? No, it's a chain reaction. Hang on, Kink Link. Coming, Mario. Fight, Mario! Fight! This should finish you. What did you think? I was just gonna give her to ya? You're always in my way. This is it. I'm gonna take you out, Mario. Fuck off! Foiled again! Oh, Mario! You had me so worried! Let's get out of here! I'm going to fall! I don't like sour cream and onion, not gonna lie. I do not like sour cream and onion chips. I think it's the worst fucking flavor. Like, if I want sour cream flavor with my chip, I'm getting me a fucking sour cream dip. You know, don't give me that sour cream fake ass flavor. Ugh. I don't like that at all. I never have. Salt and vinegar is like, we can all agree on salt and vinegar, I see. Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh, yeah, that's not good neither. I'll give you that. That is not good stuff. Hey, Mario! Lots of people use something called the door to go in and out of the houses. Anyway, I came by to pick up Toadstool, since she's a bit late. My wife loves ketchup. I don't mind ketchup. Ketchup's pretty good. Dill pickle? I think dill pickle and salt and vinegar are my favorites. And the funny thing is, honestly, I like the no name, or like if you go to particular grocery store, you can get these Signal brand. They're like the cheapo, like dirt cheap fucking chips. But their salt and vinegar is fucking great, because it tastes like the 90s like extra chemically salt and vinegar. That's what give me that one. I like that one. All the other ones are like too mild now. I don't like them. Hey, I thought the princess was here with you, Mario. So where is she? Mario, what's with the silent treatment? You're not telling me something. It's Bowser again, isn't it? Oh no, here we go again. Mario, would you please bring her back like you always do? See, I don't like Old Dutch. I'm one of these people who don't like Old Dutch. It's too thick. I don't like the cut of the chips. Bad chip cut.
Halt! Who goes there? A trespasser? This castle now belongs to us, the Smithy Gang. It's our first step towards taking over this world. And if it weren't for nosy characters like you, we'd practically own this world. So let's see you deal with this.
You know what chips I love, Frank, are covered bridge chips. I don't know if you got those where you are. Delicious. They're fucking russet potato fucking chips. I love that shit. And they're not like, they're not whitened or nothing like that. Delicious chips. Delicious. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, you get so many more of the, like, more fried chips in them. Yes. Oh, so good. Those are my favorite ones. You know when you, like, get a chip, right? And it's, like, a little more cooked than the rest of the chips? You get, like, twice as many of those in a covered bridge bag. It's so fucking good. I love that shit.
You're back so soon? Did you forget something? No? What happened then? The bridge to Bowser's Keep is up now? Just wonderful. We must inform the Chancellor of the Mushroom Kingdom at once. Let's go, Mario.
Yo, thank you for the watch streak.
Oops. Excuse me. Whoa, that bump on your head reduced your HP level. One of Mushroom Kingdom's famous items ought to perk you right up.
Received a mushroom.
Do you know how to use items?
Ah, of course I do.
Oh, I see. You're just so well-traveled and experienced, Mario. Now, why was I rushing back? I had something to tell you. I remember. I came to warn you that Mushroom Way is swarming with monsters. I just barely made it back here in one piece.
Mario, please do something. Perhaps I can help.
Do you know about timed hits?
Yes.
Hey, you better watch out. He knows about timed hits. He's gonna punch your lights out. He's got more bark to bite, huh? Now, why did I rush back? I had something to tell you.
Hey, if you grew up with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, this is exactly what Toad sounds like.
That's right. We need to tell the Chancellor about Toadstool. I'll see you over at the Mushroom Kingdom. Just in case, take these with you.
We received 3 mushrooms. It sounded like Marge's sisters. Oh my god. Funny chat. Pretty funny stuff. A little more scratchy. No, that's Toad. That's what Toad sounds like. That's how I remember him sounding, literally. I don't remember him sounding any other way. Okay, we gotta use our timed hits here. To fight fucking turtles. Toad in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm telling you, that's just Toad's original voice. That's what they had him as. They shouldn't have had Chris Pratt in the goddamn movie at all, if you ask me. Why? Why was Chris Pratt Mario? It makes no sense. I remember stomping Koopas. Phew, my life is flashing before my eyes for a second there. Here's a little something in return. They should have just stuck with the Mario movie they had. The only good Mario movie is the one where fucking Luigi Zammo and fucking the other guy go they go and see the dinosaur land. That's the good one. Nintendo doesn't want you to know that that's the good Mario movie.
Boy, that was a close call. Here's a token of my appreciation.
And now they're coming out with another one, Mario Galaxy. And it's got Yoshi. Isn't that exciting? It's got Yoshi, everybody. Get excited because it's got Yoshi. He's gonna go, Won't that be good? Remember how Yoshi goes, That's what he'll do. Good stuff. Let's get Chris Pratt back in there. Oh, look at that block. The good thing about this one is I do like the timed hit mechanics. You gotta get Chris Pratt, Bob. He's synonymous with Mario. When I think Italian Plumber, I mean, who else do you think of besides Chris Pratt, you know? It's immediately what comes to my mind. Seth fucking Rogen is Donkey Kong or whatever the fuck. The voice that weirded me out was whoever the hell was the voice doing the grandpa Donkey Kong. What the fuck? That is really off-putting. I remember Yoshi being a little animatronic raptor from 1993. That's the best Yoshi. Al Pacino is Mario. Hooah! Hooah!
Hey, are you looking at me?
My hammer, now I don't like you.
You better be careful, he's definitely got a mean streak.
Now you got my hammer angry. You shouldn't have done that. Luigi would get injured and then he would be forced to take up the mantle of Plumber Defender.
Luigi never wanted this life for me.
Oh, I gotta use my normal attacks now. Block. Oh my god. What the fuck? That almost killed me. I better eat a mushroom. Remember a decade ago when he posted he was teaching his toddler to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and I was like, oh god, here we go. My favorite interview recently is the one with what's his fucking face from Stained. He's like Bruce Springsteen duped us all. I love that interview that he gave. That's the best. We all thought Born in the USA was a patriotic pro-American anthem, and it wasn't. He duped us all. How could Bruce Springsteen do this to us? It's the best interview ever. He's like really upset about that song not being like pro-American, and instead it's critical of like, it's like somewhat critical of like them being in Vietnam. Drewski was great. Oh, I got a flower jar and I leveled up. Virgo, welcome in. Everybody go follow Virgo as well. Let's upgrade my health. All of the 90s, 2000s butt rock band chuds is probably the least surprising development. Yeah. Absolutely. Or like some of those old UK punks being fucking conservative as shit. Oh, sorry, Toad.
Mushroom Kingdom's just ahead. We're almost there, Mario. Hey, where did this hammer come from? Hey, do you know what this is? It was the Hammer Bros insignia on it. No one stands a chance when you whomp them with this.
Let's go. We got something to whomp people with. You never know. It might come in handy. It's true, Judge Will isn't a Rage Against the Machine.
Let's get a move on. I'll see you in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, we beat Zelda. We did indeed beat Zelda. And now I gotta do this Toad voice that I've decided on for the next few hours while I play this. Isn't that nice? Isn't that good that I chose that Toad voice for myself? I make good decisions. Alright, we'll save it here. I'm thinking about rolling up a doobie, or smoking another doobie, I should say, while we watch a... Oh, don't talk to me now, this kid says. While we watch a little bit of a DPRK, the next episode of a DPRK TV show. And then I'll read you that book from yesterday. And then we'll get into DPRK Juches Day. I just bought shirt and pants. What do you think about that? Which Zelda did finish? Link to the Past. I just bought shirt and pants. Oh, okay, the pants aren't for me.
Hey Mario, look what you're standing in.
Gotcha. Wow, what a jerk. It's my favorite one, Weedsickle.
Mario, there you are. Oh, tell the Chancellor you're here. Oh, wait down the hall.
Alright, yeah, we'll do this. Every time I turn around, Larry is beating Zelda again. Hey. That's true. That is very true.